Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today in this video I'm going to show you how to make a Patiala Salwar. This is going to be a full Patiala Salwar, and for this project I'm using a crepe fabric. So for buying the fabric you have to first touch and feel the fabric. The fabric should have a really nice flow. So today I'm going to show you how to make this Patiala Salwar using your old pant. So this is going to be a 3.5 meters of fabric. So if you want more flare you can go with 4 meters also. It just depends upon how much you want. The first step of making the Patiala Salwar is folding the fabric. So you're going to fold the fabric twice. That is, see, first this is going to be the fabric. I have folded the fabric in half just by closing the open side of the fabric and go all the way up like this and fold it again. So you're going to fold the fabric twice in lengthwise like this. Make sure it should be lined properly like this. You have a very marginal amount of wastage while making this Patiala Salwar. So see, going to be like this. Okay, so now I have folded the fabric for twice. You can see this is going to be the folded edge of the fabric. So let me tell the measurements that I'm going to mark in my Patiala Salwar right now. So the full length of the salwar is going to be 42 inches from the top. The total length is going to be 42 inches and the belt alone is going to be 6.5 inches, and I'm going to give a 1.5 inches for the seam allowance. So totally the belt is going to be 8 inch, and from the belt till your ankle it's going to be 36 inches. So I'm going to give 1.5 inches again to that. So the total from the belt till your ankle is going to be 37.5 inches. So let me show you the picture. So this is what I'm talking about. So the full length of the pant from the belt till your ankle length is going to be 42 inches. So this is going to be the belt. So only this belt is going to be 6.5 inches. So I'm going to add 1.5 inches. Folding at the top and joining the pant together, you're going to give 1.5 inch of seam allowance. So total is going to be 8 inches. And from the belt, that is from this point till your ankle length, is going to be 37.5 inches. Okay, this is going to be the marking of the Patiala Salwar. So for me the crotch is going to be 9 inches. Okay, so if you want your measurements like this, check the description box below. I have given the calculation. Calculate that, get your measurement, and can start marking the Patiala Salwar. And if you have any doubt with the measurement, take your old pant, lay it and see whether the measurements are correct or not. So let me go ahead and mark this measurement in the fabric and show you how to cut this out. Okay. So from the belt till your ankle length is going to be 37.5 inches for me, including the seam allowance. So first I mark that, placing my tape on the top part, and till I get that 37.5 inches I'm going to give a mark. First you're going to take your old salwar pant like this. This is going to be a normal salwar, this is not a Patiala Salwar. So first fold the salwar pant into half like this. Okay. So make sure you just take that, you just fold in exact way. Okay. And you're going to place that on top of the fabric. So you're not going to measure the belt, you're going to leave the belt on top. So Patiala Salwar is very simple to make. You can see I have folded the salwar like this, and I have placed the salwar on the folded edge of the fabric. So first mark the full length of the salwar except the belt. You can see the belt is hanging out. I've never placed the belt on the fabric. So I'm going to mark the full length of the salwar first. This is going to be my full length of the salwar. Just leaving a 1.5 inch for seam allowance, and I'm marking this alone. So same I'm going to mark and show with the tape. I told from the top the salwar going to measure excluding the belt is going to be 37 inches. So that's 37.5 inches. You can see it's exactly 37.5 inches. So the next is you're going to measure the ankle length. So the circumference of your ankle divided by 2. That is going to be this measurement. See, normally I'm going to keep that for 7.5 inches. So I'm going to mark that 7.5 inches, and 1 or 1.5 inches for seam allowance. It absolutely depends upon you. Okay, so this is going to be the place where you're going to insert your leg to. So now slowly you're going to pull the fabric, and now we are going to work on to the next side of the fabric. So now you're going to measure the full length of this fabric, like see, so the full length of the fabric from the top is going to be 41 inches. So we are going to divide that 41 inches by 2. So when you divide the 41 inches in half, so that's going to be around 20.5 inches. So you're going to mark the 20.5 from the top till here. We are going to measure the height of the fabric, and we are going to divide it by 2. So the height of the fabric is 41 inches. I have divided by 2. That is going to be 20.5 inches. So the marking is exactly over here. So now open the fabric like this. Okay. So you're going to connect from this point till this point, just in an angle. We're going to connect it like this. And I'm going to cut this out. So now the next step is I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to connect this piece to this. So see, this is going to be the, so this part is going to get connected. Okay, I'm going to turn this piece, I'm going to connect that to this piece. See, like after cutting you get the piece somewhat like this. Slowly take that, flip that over, and you're going to connect it like this, right? So you can see the continuity of the arrow mark. That's what I put the arrow mark facing closer to me. While sewing, all you have to do is take this piece and lay it on top of this like this, and you're going to put a straight stitch over here. So when you open, you can see that both the pieces are joined together. Now take this piece alone, and I'm going to mark the crotch for this. My crotch is going to be 9 inches. I'm going to move the tape till I get that 9 inches. So all I have to do is just get the tape into that 9 inch. Okay, and I'm going to give a mark. Okay, so all you have to do is you're going to straighten this, and you're going to turn that like this. Already made my belt piece. So you're going to get the belt piece by measuring your full waist, add 6 inch to that. So this is going to be that measurement, and I took the height of the belt to be 8 inches, including the seam allowance for the folding at the top. Okay, so now we're going to see the stitching of this. So I'm going to start by attaching the pieces together. Okay. So these are the sides to be joined together. So first do that, and then you can continue with sewing the down part. Okay, so I showed you with an arrow mark that these pieces should be joined together. So all you have to do is flip that on top of this, and you're going to start sewing from this point till you reach the end point. Okay. So the best fabric I will say is you can buy a crepe fabric. That's a very good material. It has a very good flow, and also it is really budget friendly. Per meter of fabric could be ranging from 45 to 50 depending upon the shop you go. So once you attach over this point, you're going to go all the way to the next side and take the next side of the opening and place it flat like this. Double check before attaching. You might make mistake if you're sewing for the first time, because you're going to attach 4 pieces. Make sure you match the top edge of your salwar, and you're going to go all the way down. You can see when I go all the way down, I have some little bit of this excess fabric. If you get this, no worry, you can just trim at the end. So little by little, don't ever pull the fabric. The crepe fabric is a real little bit stretchy fabric. You should not pull the fabric. Ease with the fabric and sew that together. So this is the very simple method of sewing the full Patiala Salwar. Even beginners can try this. And one side of my salwar pant is ready. And now I'm going to sew my next side of my salwar. Once it's done by stitching on one side, just lay the fabric, go to the next side. You have to place it like this. The salvaged edge like this. So you can see when I open this fabric, you can see a little bit of unevenness in the fabric. So all you have to do is take your scissors, go in an angle, and you're going to chop this out. Okay. Next step is I'm going to attach this salwar canvas to the bottom of the salwar. All you have to do is first you're going to measure the length of the bottom of the salwar. So this much you need. So double fold that for 2 sides, and you're going to cut this out. So take your wrong side of the fabric and lay the canvas like this, and you're going to fold that very marginal amount of fabric on the canvas. See? Like this. A very little amount of fabric should be folded on the canvas like this, and you're going to sew that. So most of the tailor will use a piece of fabric attached to the bottom of the salwar, but I don't feel comfortable in that, and this is how I used to sew all my pants. So once you've been sewn together, all you have to do is just fold that again like this. You can see the canvas is concealed inside, and you no more see the canvas, and it just gives a very neat finish. Okay. So now to the margin of this opening of the canvas, you're going to sew that together. Next step is you're going to sew, leaving a 1/4 inch on this side and leaving a marginal amount on the opposite side, and you're going to put a straight stitch at the center. So these 3 stitches makes the canvas to be concealed in this, and let me show you how to sew this. So first I'm going to put a stitch on this point. For this I take this side of a foot as a guide, and that much of amount I'm going to sew. That is, I just see this foot and taking that as a guide, and I'm going to stitch this together. So when I sew on the opposite side, I'm going to see this foot, and I make sure that this side of the feet is not going to come out of the fabric. That is my calculation, how I used to sew. Okay. So when you have like that, you can see a very neat, good straight line has come. You can see how beautiful it is. So the next step is I'm going to sew at the center. So when you sew at the center, make sure that both the feet does not goes out of the stitch line what you made before. So in this way you sew like a professional. That's very important. Like this, I'm going to do my next salwar. Fold the belt and measure how much the fabric you need for the belt. So take your measuring pant or take your measuring tape, and hope you know the measurements of your belt. So if you're taking a self measurement and marking your salwar, you're going to measure the belt, and you're going to cut the excess fabric which is hanging out. So just matching the folded edge, I'm going to go to the end point of my salwar belt. Okay, so my salwar belt ends exactly at this point. So all I have to do is just give a marking to that. So you're going to leave 1.5 inches from here, and you're going to give another marking. Belt measurement would be the full length of your hip size. Add 5 inch to that, and so that's going to be the belt part. Okay, so now take your wrong side of the belt, and I'm going to join this together. So from the top, just give a 1 inch of mark and start sewing from that till the 1 inch mark, and leave a 1 inch gap in between and just mark another line, and then you're going to sew all the way down, finishing off your belt. Okay, so this is the exact method what you have to follow. It can be a full Patiala salwar or a normal salwar pant. This is going to be standard. So for 1 inch you're going to sew, and you're not going to stitch over this part. You're going to leave it as a blank, and you're going to jump over to this line, and you're going to sew it all the way down. Okay, so let me show you the stitching of that. So everything should be done to the wrong side of the fabric. Okay, so when I come to this line, I'm going to stop at the exact point, and I'm going to do some back stitch. Okay, and take the needle out and jump to the next line and put the needle in and do some back stitch and go all the way down. So once it's done, just open it like this. So open both the fabric and crease it little bit, and you're going to fold that in like this, and I'm going to sew it on top. So I'm used to these kind of stitching, so I'm just left a very marginal amount for folding. So but if you are a beginner, please leave at least 1.5 inches, that you'll get enough fabric for folding like this. So when you get to the end point, put the needle in and turn the fabric and fold the next side nice and neat, and go to the next side of the fabric. So now the next step is we are going to finish off the top part. So first you're going to single fold the fabric at top. You just fold a marginal amount at the top and sew that together. So once it's being stitched on the top, you're going to fold that for 1 inch. once it's done, you can see this is going to be the end result of the belt part. Now take your both the down part of the salwar together. Now take your salwar pants together and take the down part and lay it flat like this. Okay, same like that you're going to. So make sure that both the canvas of your salwar matches together like this. Okay, so these are the both the canvas. So make sure that the pretty side of your canvas matches together, and you're going to go all the way up to the crotch part. Okay, that's what we are matching, both the pretty sides together. So go to the crotch part, and I'm going to join the crotch part now. Okay. When you're joining the crotch, make sure you double stitch the fabric. That's very important. Now once both our crotch parts is joined together like this, all you have to do is go to the down part and fold the canvas half like this, and you're going to sew that together. Depending upon the opening you want, you can sew this together. Okay. So now I have marked for 7.5 to 8 inches, and I'm going to sew this on top. So from here you're going to go all the way up. Okay. So just by joining both the fabrics like this. So now take your pant part and above the crotch area, so this is going to be the crotch, and here you're going to make a box pleat for once. See here, the box pleat is simply just placing a 3 inch of fabric on top like this, and pin that together. Pin that together, and same like that you're going to take a maximum of 3 inch, and you're going to match that like this and pin that together. So first you're going to make a one box pleat at the back, and for the front it's going to be a normal pleat. So first let me sew this box pleat at the back. Okay, just take a marginal amount of fabric and lay it on top, just matching the midpoint of the fabric, just matching the joint of the fabric. See, this is the place where both the crotches are joined together. Let me sew that. So when I get to the end point, I'm going to match this one like this. So so to the back part of the crotch, and I made a box pleat, and this is going to be the front part of my crotch, and join both the pieces like this, and you get into the center point of the salwar pant just by matching the top part like this. So this is going to be the center, and just give a notch. Okay, this is going to be the center. Just give a notch and mark that together. So from the back part and the notched edge of the center, you're going to join both and hold the fabric like this. So this is how I used to pleat my dress. It's just a mental calculation. For sure it just comes exactly perfect. So this is going to be the all the folded edge. Just give a mark again. Okay, The back part where we pleated the box pleat, you're going to start the pleating from this point. You're going to continue till the front part of your crotch. Once after pleating this, place that on top of your belt and decide that the belt and the pant goes exactly in the same way. If you feel that the pleating is going way more than the belt, how to add 1 or 2 pleats to get into the belt. So while attaching the belt, I show you that. So from the back side where we have marked, I'm going to start pleating that. So this is the point where I have marked. I'm going to start little bit above from that. So how I'm going to pleat is take a head pin, and you're going to tuck in a fabric which goes into the foot, and you're going to sew that. Make it flat and take a little bit of fabric, tuck with the help of your pin, and you're going to place that. You don't have any precise measurement for making these pleats. So if you want a very small pleat, you can make a small pleat. If you want a big pleat also, you can make a little bit big pleat. These 1.5 inches pleat will always look really beautiful. See how beautiful my pleats are. So this is going to be my crotch part. So it's now going to end. So all you have to do is, so you're going to end the pleating exactly at the crotch point, and you're going to finish it off. So one side the pleating have to face me, another side the pleating have to face to the opposite direction. Side I'm going to pleat to opposite direction just by laying the fabric on top. Okay. Always the opposite direction would be really simple to make. All you have to do is you're going to just place the pleat on top of the previous pleat just by picking the fabric and lay it on top like this. You don't need the help of the pin to make the opposite pleats. Okay. All you have to do is just place it on top. So same like that, I'm going to go a little bit away from the marked point, and I'm going to finish off the pleats. Now you can see how beautifully it has been pleated. So now you can see I have just did my pleating, and you can see how beautiful it is. Now I'm going to join my belt part to this. So take your belt like this, and you're going to match the pant and the belt together like this, and you're just measuring whether this part and the belt part is equal. So just match a little bit, so match like this. Okay, and you can see this much of excess fabric is there in my belt. So what I do now is I just remove one pleat on this side and one pleat on this side to overcome this. Okay, I just remove one pleat on either side. Okay, now I have removed one pleat on either side. So that's it. And now I'm going to attach the belt and pant together. So this is going to be a very easy step to follow. Now take your center point. So this is going to be the center point of the Patiala Salwar, where both the pleats are meeting together. And now take the opening part of the belt, okay, and make sure that the center point of your pant and the belt part matches together. So this is going to be the opening. You can see this is going to be the opening which is going to come down. I'm going to sew the belt and the pant together. Place the pleated edge flat and nice like this. So this is going to be the pretty side of the fabric, and just like that you're going to lay the belt on top of that, and you're going to sew that together. Okay, make sure you lay the pleats in a nice and neat way. You can see this is going to be the end result of the full Patiala Salwar. So once it's done, all you can do is just place all the pleats in place, and you're going to give a nice press to that. All the pleats will stay in the exact place, and it's just going to look really beautiful. If you find this video was really helpful for you, and if you don't want to miss any of my future upcoming video, just go ahead and hit on the subscriber button below so that you won't miss any of my future video. And also, if you want more videos like this, just go ahead and hit on the thumbs up button below. See you next time with a different kind of style. Take care. Bye bye.